What is a mind trick you know of? You know that awkward moment when you and a stranger are walking towards each other but need to get past each other and you get confused and end up doing a left to right dance? Not for me. When I walk through large crowds of people, to avoid walking into anyone, I simply stare at my destination. I look no one in the eyes. People actually will watch your eyes and avoid the direction you are going. If I look into people's eyes as we are walking into each other, we are sure to collide. You have to let people know where you intend to go with your eyes. It always works for me. Try it. Your turn. Teach me some good mind tricks. I live in inner city Akron, Ohio. Needless to say, there is a pretty high crime rate around the university center. So, I took a self-defense course at the university and learned the best self-defense tricks I could have never thought of. Act crazier than the person attacking you. I'm talking mental patient on PCP with a bad case of Jack Nicholson insane. 9 times out of 10 they will see you as unpredictable and not want to even mess with you. For example, I was across the street from my apartment at a Circle K buying a 40 and a pack of smokes at about midnight 30 and this guy comes up from nowhere and asks me if I want to make some money. I reply no thanks, I have a job. The clerk behind the window disappears to get my stuff and I'm stuck outside in the open standing right next to what amounts to drug selling would be burglar. After a while, the silence and tension gets unbearable and I ask him what his proposed opportunity entails. Just then the clerk comes back, gives me my stuff, and shouts out the window, "Yo, what's up, dental?" or something along those lines. The shady guy shakes his head and starts to walk away. I pay for my stuff, start walking along under the lights, along the white wall of the building, so I can be seen in case anything happens, and I see to my left that this shady guy is following me, walking parallel to me in the parking lot where it's dark. He calls over to me and starts walking towards me. I'm all like, nope, so I curve my arms up so my hands are in my armpits, and I crouch down with a wide stance and walk sideways in a crab walk / gorilla style fashion and start screaming obscenities about aliens and Arabic coffee. The guy takes one look at me and makes a run for the bus stop. TLDR, a guy started following me in a parking lot of a Circle K late one night, so I went into gorilla mode and acted like a paranoid schizophrenic, so he ran off. Yup, this works. I did something similar back in my early 20s, when I was a little stick girl. Was walking to my car, in a mall parking lot late at night, and couldn't find my car right off, had to cut through a few rows. Noticed a guy following me a few lengths back, cutting through the same rows. I got a little scared, so I started hopping up and down and giggling. Then I hopped in a circle until I met his eyes and started grinning like an idiot. Reached in my pocket and started muttering, "Gonna sticky app," and he did a 180 and walked away. If I need to remember to do anything at all the next day, I will put something in my room out of place. This works every time. Say for example, I really want to remember to email my professor before leaving for class. I will put a movie on the floor. I will initially think, why is that? Oh right, email learning. A key technique for me. Doesn't work if there's already a bunch of shit on your floor. Then clean up. Why did I clean? Oh right. Nice try, mom. If you're trying to find something, try looking right to left as opposed to left to right. Your eyes tend to skim over things if you search in the direction you are used to reading in, so skim the opposite way. It takes me a bit more effort to do this, but I notice more details. My favorite works best in sports. It's more of a way to get into other people's mind and screw them up. Say you're playing against a girl who is just on fire, completely in the zone and dominating. Casually ask, "Hey, what did you change to X better?" or something to that effect. I've done it in volleyball where I ask a guy who's been hitting amazing, "I've never seen you jump so high before. What did you change?" More often than not, it throws them off their game. Done it in hockey too. "Hey, your shot looks amazing. What foot are you leading with?" I'm a paramedic. When a patient is possibly faking unconsciousness, we have 2 tricks to determine if they're really unconscious or not. First, You can lightly brush their eyelashes with your finger. Their eyes will flutter if they're faking it. Alternatively, if they're on their back, you can lift their arm over their face and let it go. A conscious person will drop their arm away from their face. Finally, a trick to see if someone is faking a neck injury or neck pain. Put a thermometer in their mouth while checking their vitals, then ask them a yes or no question while looking them in the eyes. If you aren't looking directly at them, they tend to answer with a strained aha or no ha, but if you're looking directly at them, they will usually nod their head. Someone who is faking the pain can do this with ease. And yes, there are a lot of calls where people fake pain, illness, etc. for various reasons. There's something in sales called the Sullivan nod. Basically, when you're asking someone something, nod up and down while you're asking. Their mirror neurons start firing, and they begin nodding and agreeing with you subconsciously. 60% of the time it works every time. During a job interview, you want to keep eye contact with the person you're talking to. It makes you seem more alert and confident. Here's the trick. Every 5 or 10 seconds switch the eye you are looking at. It's such a small motion that the other person can't see it, but it makes your eyes look like they're sparkling, which makes you look very interested in what the other person is saying. Probably works for dating too. Clarification. Some people have asked for clarification on how this is supposed to work. On the small motion part, you have to be a few feet away from the other person, otherwise the angle your eyes have to shift to look at the other eye is easily noticeable. On the sparkling, since your eyes aren't perfectly spherical, when they move the reflection of any light in the room changes slightly. If the movement is small enough, all the other person sees is the light's reflection moving on your eye, thus sparkling. Disclaimer: apparently some people can tell what you're doing and find it very annoying. If you're trying this and you get weird looks, you should probably stop. The door in the face technique. The general idea is that you ask someone for a huge favor, which you're relatively confident they'll say no to. Then you ask them for a small favor. Subjects who initially refuse the huge favor have a much higher compliance rate on the small favor than if you just ask directly for the small favor, or if you present both at once. If they end up saying yes to the huge favor, that's also good. Hey, can you set up a threesome with you and your sister this weekend? No? How about just a blowjob then? Like that? Exactly like that, although you usually have to be careful not to outright offend them on the first request. So you're saying I shouldn't ask them while slowly stroking my penis, looking them dead in the eye, alternating each eye every 10 to 15 seconds, so as to appear interested and or twinkling, nodding my head up and down while asking, and flicking my fingers through their eyelashes to determine if they are faking unconsciousness, okay? When trying to get away with something sketchy, not illegal per se, but frowned upon, walk into the place like you own it. Don't glance around, don't even stop for a second or look confused. 9 times out of 10 nobody will question you. You can get away with lots of things that way. And be a white person. That works best. Sad, but true. In class, if it's a presentation where someone has to present without looking at notes, or anything like that, and while they're up in front of classroom presenting, some people forget what they are talking about, space out, freak out, and lose their train of thought. To counter this, nod your head at the end of each sentence they say, confirming what they're saying. They will somehow use this as a motivator, and 9 times out of 10 will keep presenting without fault. You're a regular good guy, Greg. Okay, so here's one my father taught me years ago when I was just a small child. It's not a mind trick so much as it is an illusion. Then again, an illusion is just tricking your mind, so I think it counts. So, I use the knuckles on my pointer finger and middle and wrap them around someone's nose. Then I pull back, while I covertly slip my thumb between my 2 knuckles. I then proclaim, "Got your nose?" Most people stand in shock, until I reveal that I haven't actually removed their nose. It's a useful trick for picking up women, as well as entertaining at parties. If you're in a crowded social group, restaurant, bar, party, etc., and you want to know if someone is checking you out, try this. Turn sideways from them. They will be either 90 degrees right or left of you. Then very obviously, look at your watch. Even if you don't wear one, lift your wrist, then point at your watch and nod thoughtfully. Overacting is perfectly acceptable. If they are keeping tabs on you, even peripherally, they will have a certain urge to know the time, and will either look at their own watch, cell phone, or casually look at the various obvious places where someone would put a clock. Edit. So yawning seems to be another method. However, do you think the world's most interesting man would more likely be seen yawning, or looking at his watch in a social setting? Go up to someone in a restaurant, and tell them to close their eyes and picture a playing card. While they are doing this, eat as much of their food as you can and run away. I've done this many times. This is probably silly, but you know that thing where if you repeat a word enough it loses its meaning? Well, I've convinced myself that there is some kind of similar thing going on with pain. If I'm in pain, if I focus 100% on the pain, and block out everything else, the pain kind of loses its meaning. I still feel it, but it's no longer pain, it's just, what is? I tested your theory by plunging a knife into my leg, and I must say, I disagree with your methodology. Have someone lay on their back on the ground, and hold their legs straight up, so their body is making a 90-degree angle. Have them close their eyes and relax their body completely. Hold that position for about 60 seconds, then very slowly start lowering their legs towards the ground. It's critical they keep their eyes closed, and ask them to tell you to stop when they feel their legs are about to hit the ground. They will always say stop way before it hits the ground, and then you say, well now I'm going to drop your legs through the floor, and keep lowering their legs down onto the ground slowly. It feels really weird and always works, but I guess it's more of a mind/body trick. The blood drains out of their legs, and with their eyes closed they can't get a good read on where their legs are. I think this one is pretty well known by now, but when high-fiving, look at their elbow and you'll never miss. I tell people that the trick is to actually look at their own elbow, and then I give him a good smack in the face. If you ask a question, and receive only a partial answer, respond with polite silence. Simply wait. A more complete answer will usually follow. I guess it doesn't work online. Seems to me that it worked perfectly.